Results of SSC and equivalent exams to be published tomorrow. Result could be seen through SMS. 53rd birth anniversary of noted information technologist and architect of digital Bangladesh, Shajeeb Wajid Joy, today. Evil communal forces and terrorism will thrive equally if Awami League is not in power. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmud tells journalists in Kolkata. Severity of dengue continues rising across the country. 10 die and 2,361 persons admitted to hospitals over last 24 hours. Military stages coup d'etat in West African country Niger, making President Mohamed Bazoum house arrest. UN Secretary General calls for his immediate release. And Pakistan beat Sri Lanka by an innings and 222 runs in the final match of two-test series in Colombo. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the detailed stories.
বর্তমান অস্ত্র প্রতিযোগিতা নিয়ন্ত্রণ করার জন্য জরুরি ব্যবস্থা গ্রহণ করা দরকার। অস্ত্র প্রতিযোগিতা হ্রাস করা সম্ভব হলে অর্থনৈতিক সংকট দূর করার উপযোগী পরিবেশই শুধু গড়ে উঠবে না, এই প্রতিযোগিতায় যেসব বিপুল সম্পদ অপচয় হচ্ছে তা মানব জাতির সাধারণ কল্যাণে নিয়োগ করা সম্ভব হবে।
The results of SSC and equivalent exams of 2023 are set to be published tomorrow morning. Dhaka Education Board Chairman Tapan Kumar Sarkar said the results will be handed over to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasinas around 9 a.m. tomorrow. The students will be able to access the results from 10:30 a.m., the official said. The candidates can get the results online or through SMS, board official said. To get the results under general boards through SMS, candidates will have to type SSC, the first three letters of the board name, followed by the candidate's roll number and the year, and send the message to 16222. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasinas has sought British cooperation for development of Bangladesh railway sector. She said Bangladesh will be happy to see British cooperation for development of Bangladesh railway sector. The Premier said this while former British Prime Minister and Executive Chairman of the Institute for Global Change, Tony Blair, paid a courtesy call on her at the latter's official residence, Ganabhavan in Dhaka this evening. After the meeting, Prime Minister's Press Secretary Saul Karim briefed the newsmen. At the meeting, Tony Blair highly praised Bangladesh's socio-economic and infrastructure development under the prudent leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasinas. He said Bangladesh is expected to gain further momentum in its overall development in the coming days. Sheikh Hasinas said her government has a target to transform Bangladesh into a developed country by 2041. To this end, the Prime Minister said her government has attached topmost priority on the development of information communication technology, ICT. Ambassador-at-Large Ziauddin and Prime Minister's Principal Secretary Mohammad Tofazul Hussain Mia were present during the meeting. President Mohammad Shahabuddin released fish fries into a pond at Bangabhavan today as part of programs of the National Fisheries Week 2023. The President released fish fries of local species in Poddopukur inside Bangabhavan this afternoon. Fisheries and Livestock Minister SM Rizal Karim was present. Later, a special munajat was offered on the occasion. Secretaries to the President, Fisheries and Livestock Secretary and concerned high officials were present.
والحمد لله رب العالمين بحق لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
The 52nd birth anniversary of Bangabandhu's grandson and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasinas ICT Affairs Advisor Shajib Wajid Joy is being observed today in a befitting manner. Joy, son of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and eminent nuclear scientist Dr. M.A. Wajid Mia, played the pivotal role in setting the country's crucial course, being the beacon of digital Bangladesh. Despite his birth to a leading political family, Joy so far preferred a distinct course of action, unlike any conventional politician, to materialize the electoral pledge of the party he belongs to, and his mother, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, leads to build a digital in computer engineering from the University of Texas at Arlington in the United States. Joy was born in 1971, coinciding with the emergence of Bangladesh as an independent nation. On behalf of the party, Awami League General Secretary Abadul Qadir greeted Shajib Wajid Joy on the occasion of his birthday. Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmud has said, if Awami League does not remain in power, the communal ill forces and militancy will raise heads in the country. Dr. Hassan Mahmud, who is on a visit to India, said this at the open question and answer session of the Face the Journalists program at Kolkata Press Club this afternoon. He said this in response to a question from Indian journalists regarding whether communal forces would raise heads if the Awami League not come to power in the next parliament elections.
বাংলাদেশে সাম্প্রদায়িক অপশক্তির বিরুদ্ধে যেই দলটি সবসময় সংগ্রাম করেছে এবং অসাম্প্রদায়িক দল হিসেবে যেই দলটি প্রতিষ্ঠিত সেটি হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশ আওয়ামী লীগ। ৭৫ বঙ্গবন্ধুকে হত্যা করার পর জিয়াউর রহমান বিএনপির প্রতিষ্ঠাতা জিয়াউর রহমান ক্ষমতায় আসার পর সেই সাম্প্রদায়িকতাকে আবার ফিরিয়ে এনেছে। দুঃখজনক হল সত্য, সাম্প্রদায়িক অপশক্তির প্রতিনিধিত্ব করে বিএনপি বাংলাদেশে ২০০১ সালে নির্বাচনের পর বিএনপির নেতৃত্বে হিন্দু সম্প্রদায়ের উপর, খ্রিস্টান সম্প্রদায়ের উপর এবং অন্যান্য ধর্মীয় সংখ্যালঘুদের উপর যেভাবে নির্যাতন হয়েছে, নৌকায় ভোট দেওয়ার অপরাধ, আমাদের দলীয় অফিসে এই সংখ্যালঘু সম্প্রদায়, বিশেষত হিন্দু সম্প্রদায়ের মানুষকে আশ্রয় দেওয়ার জন্য ঘরবাড়ি ছাড়া করে দিয়েছে। সেই জন্য আমাদের দলের অফিসে লঙ্গরখানা করতে হয়েছে, আশ্রয় কেন্দ্র করতে হয়েছে। এই হচ্ছে বিএনপি।
Regarding Bangladesh-India mutual cooperation, the Information and Broadcasting Minister said Bangladesh has a strong bilateral relations with India and other countries, not only trade but also other various issues, including security. The Minister said it is the responsibility of Bangladesh as well as India's to maintain peace and stability in two countries.
ভারতীয় সেনাবাহিনী যেভাবে কাণ্ড তারা গড়ে করেছে, সর্বোপরি ভারতের মানুষ সেদিন তাদের ঘরের দুয়ার খুলে দিয়েছিল, তারা মনের দুয়ারটা খুলে দিয়েছিল। আমাদের দুই দেশের বন্ধন রক্ত রক্ত এলাকা, এই বন্ধন কখনো ছিন্ন হবে না। এছাড়া জাতির পিতা বঙ্গবন্ধু শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান পাকিস্তানের কারাগারে বন্দী ছিলেন।
The dengue situation in the country is getting worse day by day. A press release of the Directorate General of Health Services said 10 more dengue patients died in the last 24 hours. Of them, 5 were in Dhaka and another 5 were outside Dhaka. 2003 361 dengue patients were admitted to different hospitals across the country during the last 24 hours. Among them, 1,122 dengue patients were hospitalized in Dhaka city and 1,239 patients outside Dhaka. Meanwhile, 2 patients died of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The country reported 71 COVID-19 positive cases as 1,453 tested in the last 24 hours. Corona infection rate was reported at 4.89%. Home Minister Zaman Khan Kamal has urged the political parties to hold rallies or public meetings maintaining peaceful atmosphere. He made the call at a press briefing after a meeting at the Secretariat in Dhaka today. The Home Minister said law enforcement agencies will take legal actions against those who will be responsible for creating public sufferings in the name of rally. He also urged the political parties to avoid rallies on roads and not to engage in violence and vandalism. And now international news. Soldiers in the West African country of Niger have announced a coup on national TV. In the TV announcement on Wednesday, Colonel Major Amadou Abdurrahmane, alongside 9 other uniformed soldiers behind him, said the defense and security forces have decided to put an end to the regime. They said they had dissolved the constitution, suspended all institutions and closed the nation's borders. Niger President Mohamed Bazoum has been held by troops from the Presidential Guard since early on Wednesday. He was promised Washington's unwavering support in a call from U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Left many in Africa unnerved. Responding to Western criticism of Russia's decision to quit the Black Sea grain deal last week, Putin reiterated that Moscow left because none of the promises had been met. The summit is second of its kind after an inaugural one held in 2019 in Sochi, southern Russia. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken pressed African leaders attending the summit with Russia's Vladimir Putin to demand answers about a grain crisis that has propelled poorer nations towards crisis. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has met with Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu in his first known meeting with a foreign dignitary since the COVID-19 pandemic. Kim and Shoigu discussed matters of mutual concern related to defense and regional security and viewed an exhibition of weapons including ballistic missiles, North Korean state media reported on Thursday. The meeting between the two men was an important occasion in further developing the strategic and traditional DPRK-Russia relations as required by the new century, the official Korean Central News Agency KCNA said. Shoigu also gave Kim a letter from Russian President Vladimir Putin. The KCNA said Kim thanked Putin for sending a delegation led by Shoigu, who also held talks with North Korean Defense Minister Kang Soon-nam. They will attend Pyongyang's celebrations of 70th anniversary of the Korean War's armistice, marked typically by massive military parades. The friendly tour comes amid accusations that Pyongyang is supplying Russia with arms for use in its war in Ukraine, a claim that both Pyongyang and Moscow deny. The Ukrainian Air Force said Wednesday it had intercepted 36 cruise missiles fired by Russia during a new wave of attacks. According to the Air Force, Ukrainian forces intercepted 3 caliber missiles during a first series of strikes in the afternoon and 33 X-101 and X-555 missiles in the early evening. The missiles were fired by 8 Tu-95 bombers from the southeast heading towards western Ukraine, it said. Russia has increased the bombing of Ukrainian cities over the last 2 weeks, particularly targeting the key port of Odessa on the Black Sea. Meanwhile, the general in charge of Ukraine's tutoring offensive in the south says Russia has created multi-layered minefields and fortified defense lines which were making it difficult for military equipment, including tanks and armored vehicles supplied by the West, to move forward. Typhoon Doksuri lashed southern Taiwan on Thursday after battering the Philippines, where the storm's ferocious winds and rains triggered floods and landslides that killed at least 6 people. The storm, categorized at the second strongest typhoon level by Taiwan's Weather Bureau, was heading towards the southern Taiwan Strait with maximum winds of 191 km/h Thursday morning. Doksuri has lost some of its strength since it lashed the northern Philippine coastline on Wednesday, bursting banks of rivers, flooding low-lying villages and unleashing dozens of landslides. In the Buguyas town in Banquet province, a landslide buried a house, killing a mother, her child and 2 other children. In Taiwan on Thursday, the Weather Bureau issued wind and rain warnings for the southern part of the island, including the major port city of Kaohsiung, where businesses and schools were closed and landslide warnings issued. Now some other international news in brief. A federal judge on Tuesday blocked